Thank you for allowing your time today to join me. And for everyone out there, Kate Shilling is here today from Ultimate Winery Experiences Australia. And Kate is the Executive Officer within that group. So, look, Kate, can you tell us a little bit about, I guess you're formally known as Ultimate Winery Experiences Australia, but you go by UWEA as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So, Angie, we were invented, or our wineries came together 7 years ago. We had 9 wineries to begin with, and we're now currently a group of 25 wineries from 15 regions across the country. And the reason we got together was that 2 things were happening. One is Tourism Australia had realised that food and wine was part of the decision-making process when people were deciding where to go on holidays. So whether it was Italy or Argentina or Australia, what the food and wine offering was, what we could offer was part of that decision-making process. So, and we were getting really great at inspiring people about Australia's food and wine scene. But when it came to bookable experiences, when people said, oh, that sounds amazing, what can I do? Where should I go? And what's the best for me? We didn't have a lot of bookable experiences. So we had 9 wineries that got together to kick Ultimate Winery Experiences off. And the whole mission is really to create experiences that go beyond the cellar door. Every winery in every country offers great tasting experiences where you can drop in and taste a flight of wines. But our wineries really want to, I guess, be able to share a deeper experience, whether that's meeting the owner of the winery, whether that's meeting the winemaker and doing a tour actually behind the scenes. So you get to understand what goes into that wine that you're drinking, what food matches it perfectly, and really, I guess, bring the not just the winery to life, but the region to life. And so that's really our reason for being, is to create bookable experiences that customers, no matter where they're from, they're going to get that deeper insight into what's going on in Australia's wine regions.
How fantastic, because I think we all agree that we're all after a holiday experience or whatever that might look like, but we want local immersion. We want to be able to immerse ourselves into an experience, and it sounds like you are offering. And are you offering something for everyone, Kate? Is there packages available for all parts of the
There
market?
are. I mean, by nature of the wine scene, it's more an adult experience rather than we see so many families that drop by because the locations are so beautiful.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's the food and wine, the wine tasting element is for the grown-ups. And I think we talk a lot about developing experiences that appeal to people who really are looking for that deeper engagement. And that can be on 2 levels. One could be, yes, if you're a crazy wine person, we can dial up the crazy to meet whatever your burning questions are. And that could be that you've got a cellar full of Riesling, but you're missing the vintage from 2012. We can help with that. And we've got plenty of crazy people out there. But really, the bulk of our customers and the people that book an Ultimate Winery Experience are just looking, I guess, to going regional resonates for them, getting in amongst, going back to grassroots, knowing that the personality that sits behind the place is really important, and those the value of contribution, and what's gone into this wine, who's contributed what, how all the wineries collaborate within their own ecosystem, but within their own region. So yeah, it's really people who are not just looking. They're not just looking to tick a box. They're looking to really settle in and enjoy themselves.
Do you categorize your experiences? So, if someone's a foodie, for example, have you got different packages on offer?
We do. Food is a really big part of a winery experience. And so for most of, so we offer from a bookable online, experience that can be booked through our trade partners or direct. We offer 130 experiences at the moment, all going well, going well.
Yes.
And they range in price from $50 to $5,000. And of course, but I guess in terms of the categories, we talk a lot around the feasting, the food and wine pairing experiences. And that can be anything from a premium picnic, where you get a hamper of local produce and a bottle of beautiful wine to take out into a private setting in the vines, It can be a cooking class where you're walking with the chef through the kitchen garden to help him prepare a meal that you're going to eat. And then we have some really amazing fine dining experiences. A lot of our wineries started as restaurants and then realised that the wines that they were growing nearby were part of that portfolio. So we've got some really quite famous restaurants, and that fine dining experience is there. So we've got the food and wine aspect.
Yeah.
We do a lot of the learning educational aspect is not so much a formal class, it's very hands-on. And our master classes are conducted by wine ambassadors who are really fun and have often been part of that wine label for a very long time. We've got we call it, we live the high life. We do, I've never talked helicopters as much as I have in this role. I know that you can land 5 helicopters on the helipad at Audrey Wilkinson in the Hunter Valley because we've booked that sort of stuff. So for customers that are looking to celebrate, they've got a special milestone coming up. We either offer really great experiences on site in the vines, but we've also got partnerships with some of the lovely accommodation houses that are nearby. One of our sister collectives is the Luxury Lodges, and we have some amazing, like really beautiful packages. The one in the Hunter Valley, we stay at the Louise, we go to 3 of our wineries over a couple of days, is lovely. Margaret River with Cape Lodge as well. We have 3 wineries that just, down the road from there. So we have some really interesting packages that do let you celebrate in style.
Yes.
And the final pillar that we talk about when we're categorising our experiences is we want to support the local region. I recently did a report where we wanted to sort of measure what our impact was as an anchor experience in a region. And I worked out between 25 wineries, we actually support, it's nearly 2,000 businesses in regional Australia. So that final pillar is around that deeper dive into a destination where the wineries are working with the local cheesemakers and the local bread, the local bakeries, but they're also combining up with other tourism experiences. For me, our experiences can be dropped into any trip.
Yes.
And I think that it's just getting that feeling of going out of town and doing something a little bit different.
Absolutely, and making a weekend of it, or making a midweek trip of it, depending what your reasons are. And we're very lucky in Australia too. We have got wine regions Australia wide. It's quite accessible. We don't have to get on a plane because right now we can't. So it is quite relative, I think, in when it is safe to travel. We're going to see probably a real upsurge there potentially with people wanting to have these experiences.
I agree, and you're so right about the accessibility, because I worked out that probably most of our wineries are within 90 minutes, some are much closer, but 90 minutes to sort of a 2-hour drive from a major gateway. But the furthest one is, 3 hours drive. And people, like if you're in Melbourne and you think, 3 hours is a long way to go to the King Valley and the Alpine Valley. But actually, you know what? People go skiing for the day. They'll go to Mount Buller up and back in a day and ski. So I'm like, people can do, yes, we'd much rather you came and settled in and stayed overnight and, made a weekend of it. But they're all so easy to get to. And there's some really great ways that you can get there now. We've got some really good, we call them local heroes, but tour operators that you can book so someone can take you out to the winery. You don't have to worry about, designated drivers and the rest of that. But it's really easy to get to.
So talking in a perfect world, pre-COVID, naturally, so what would be your most popular experience?
When I saw that was on your list, it's
a tricky one, isn't it? There's probably lots.
I know. The picnics have been fabulous, and in each region we've got some really great premium picnics where you're getting a private tour behind the scenes with someone from the winery, but then you're given your beautiful hamper and sent out to walk in the grass and really, I guess, just totally relax, take a moment to slow down. And in a perfect world, it was a very fast-paced urban go world, so the picnics have been really good sellers. The experiences that the blending experiences have been really fun, because again, you get to make your own. If you go to Darrenberg, which is where the Cube is, you can blend your own Shiraz. And I've got the Kate Shilling Shiraz here. I've actually got the autumn vintage and the winter vintage from last year, and I'm so nervous about opening them because I bet you they're not that they're not as great as the dead I'm Shiraz, but they're mine. And I was working with really great products to begin with. So they sell really well. Other region by region, there are some heroes. Margaret River, for example, they have really lovely experiences that connect the wineries together, but also connect the hikes, the Cape to Cape Trail, and so on. So there's great, and also Northeast Victoria is great for the sort of the rail trails with the biking, cycling between wineries and what have you.
What can you share, Kate? Because obviously, you've been in the industry for, a number of years. What are your predictions?
The Australian way with wine is really unique, and I think that sort of the innovation, and maybe it's the influence of immigration as well, but we do really cool stuff that you don't see in other parts of the world, even though the varieties are very much the same. So I think we're going to surprise and delight a lot of people as the restrictions start lifting. I think it's going to be great.
Look, thank you, Kate. I'll let you get going because I know you're a busy lady, but look, I really appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us today.
That's been my absolute pleasure. We can't wait to see your customers, and we can't wait to see you soon. Bye.
Yes, absolutely.